Hello, how's everyone doing? I see a few of us here already. I'm so sorry for the lateness. Woke up, saw a few surprises in the house, had to mad scramble, get it all sorted, drop the kids off, and now we are good. Who's here? Who's here? Morning, Sagan. Good morning, Mary. Good morning, Rob. Good morning, Megan. Good morning, Goblin. Good morning, Clint. Good morning, Octo. Good morning, Leo. Good morning, Paul. Blondie, Matilda, Justin. Cool. Megan getting straight into the goals. Megan's going to pack and do 50 and photograph 50 items. Awesome. That's very manageable in 4 hours. Paul's gonna go rip a marketplace person a new one, apparently. Yeah, they don't I don't know what the reporting thing does. It feels like all those functions are just for us to have a venting space. I don't think it really does anything either. I'm with you on that one. Because the number of people that you, and also I don't like the fact that people can scam you and then after that you can't report them, or the option doesn't exist, or when they like that guy or girl who wanted me to do the pay ID thing. Once I asked for cash, they left the chat. You can't report them. You can't click on their profile. It's like gone. They've just blocked you completely. So I feel like if you get blocked by somebody, they should at least let you still report them and select the reason why. I think that will be, because like if they want to verify, you can go to the chat, you can pretty much see it's the same pattern of behavior. But the fact that once they block, you can't report them either, that's kind of annoying. And then also usually what they do is I've noticed they pick very common names. Even like that name, that Ruck name was a very common name, because I went to look for the person. They had already changed their profile picture, and there was like I think 20 people in the search results. So you can't even pick the one that you want to block, which is annoying. My goal is to open all of the Pokemon 151 packs I got today. Nice. Optus working on towers might be in and out. Cool. And that's it, everybody. I'll start us off on a session. And once again, thank you so much for still being here, despite me being half an hour late. Yeah. School holidays are definitely interesting because you wake up and there is no routine. And the house is a surprise every morning. That's essentially the summary of it. But we got it sorted, and here we are. Let's go. I'm hoping that I can get about 80 drafts done today. Let's see if that happens. Which way? Timer? Yeah. Camera angles down a bit. Then this goes here, here, here. Good. All right. That flew by. Okay. What's happening? How is everybody going? La 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 la. Has everyone watched Mel's video with tech this week? He lit a fire. Yeah, very black and white. I like that. I like the video. It was what was it? I think for me as well, I made the same mistake where when I started out, I wanted to get as many listings as I could done. I didn't know exactly how much I could get done. And it was definitely an adjustment to go from that to like just buy first and see how many we can list. And even now I still have that curiosity. It's like I still don't know. Like I know, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I still want to think that I can do more than I can. And then I end up being overwhelmed and stuff, which is very human. And I like the fact that he's very robotic. So but it's also like it's robotic, but at the same time it's also quite boring. And I think that's it, right? If you're building a business and there is no emotion in it, it's just meant to be a machine that makes money. It should be quite boring. It should be predictably boring. I'm definitely not ready for my business to be predictably boring yet because I wouldn't enjoy it otherwise. And I'm kind of scared. I'm kind of scared that I'll get bored of it if it becomes predictably boring. This is probably quite revealing as far as how my psyche works. Jenny does mention to me that if the moment I figure something out, I move on, and I don't like that. So I think to some extent, yeah, something for me to manage. So when I look at text model, the people will say that's the model that makes the most money. So therefore, it should be the model that everybody aspires to. But if you get bored and you don't want to do it anymore, and it loses its spark, will you get to that level, right? And so I think everyone needs to figure out what's the thing that helps them to keep getting there. Because I hear Tech and Chris talk about it, it's like, do you not like money? And I go, well, it's not as simple as that. I feel like not everybody does it just for the money. Some people do it because they're constantly curious to know what categories they can sell in. They're constantly curious to know what whether they can manage a team of a certain size. Like there are more things to this self-employment than just money. But of course, you need money. You need to earn money and continue earning more money in order to grow and enable yourself to experiment more. Reselling has gotten to a point for me that it has allowed me to experiment with YouTube. Granted, if I wanted to just be a hoarder and buy and buy and buy and buy and buy, and not check margins, not check metrics whatsoever, YouTube would not be possible. So the fact that there is a business there that supports the ability to do this for what has been a year now means that there needs to be some level of resourcing. But yeah, I just didn't. I respect Tech immensely. What he's done is incredible. It's definitely not a model that I can replicate because personally I would struggle with that model. So to Michelle's point, I think Michelle mentioned something about not sure I could work in such a clinical surrounding. Yeah, it's boring, but he's the kind of guy that thrives on that environment. He recognizes the link between that and everything else he's able to do. Yeah. What do you guys think? There are some people who, for example, there are relationships that are clockwork. Like you see people who every morning they wake up, they do the same thing. They can even they eat the same breakfast, same lunch, and to them that's a calm, settled, loving relationship. And then you have the stereotypical as portrayed in the movies, Latin relationship. Like it's yelling, it's screaming, it's gossip. But it's that drama, that spice. It's a cultural thing, I think. So, is there a model? Is there one model for a loving relationship? No. And so some people without the spice, they never go the distance. Some people need there to be no spice at all to go the distance. That's all I'm trying. That's all I'm getting at. So I think for me, looking at that model, if I followed that model, I wouldn't get that. How about you guys? I'm curious to know what you guys think when you look at that. Clearly, that there like, but beyond all of that, though, just like how every relationship, you need loyalty, you need love, you need care, understanding, deeper understanding, metrics, and that was Mel's takeaway, right? Metrics. And for me, it's more about it's that capacity thing of like, all right, now that you know how much you can actually do, stick to that. Don't overbuy. Don't sleep too late, and then after that, not be able to sustain it. And yeah, you get the idea. Keen to hear you guys' thoughts. Paul says Widget Factory. Yep. Say again. You should watch it. It's really good. Jody's here. Hello. All nighter taking photos. Damn. Which is what is needed at that scale. A factory with minimum of everything. Morning, John. Morning, Dave. Hello. Time and family over money. For me, you can always make more money, but you can't get time back. Yeah, I agree. I think make more money when the kids start not wanting us to hang around as much. More than just money. I do this so I can stay home with my kids. Yeah. And I mean, like, staying home with your kids, there are limitations for sure. But once again, the beauty of reselling is if you're, you can always pick a different category. You can always pick different items to sell that will fit within the confines of a home. I love it when someone who discovers reselling whilst they live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and then they figure out, wait, how do I do it, rather than go, because I'm in a 2-bedroom apartment, I can't do it. And I've heard stories of people who have, they've got 2 bedrooms, and then they've just decided, okay, I can add a wardrobe instead of a study table to the additional room. So then I'm just going to do work on the dining table. So therefore, I've got a cupboard, less one table, and then my wardrobe doesn't really need to have all these clothes, because quite frankly, half the things I don't wear. And then they go and donate or sell all their, formal dresses and suits that they don't wear anymore, and then that becomes new storage. And just in that process alone, they're able to do 300 listings of clothing. So that kind of that to me is, that you can always do something. It's not like, here's what you need, otherwise you can't start. I need to do the punishment. You're all family people here. I've been here every day of my kids' childhood, still working, but here when they need me. That's the best. I think that's what you remember. Like, I remembered hearing about, obviously I don't know the full story. Like, Reezy resells. I know he's one of those like Amazon FBA kind of guys with a big warehouse of books. And he was talking about how he's there for his kids, and his kids come to the warehouse quite regularly to do homeschooling as well. I think, and homeschooling is quite common in the States. And just, some people will look at that model and go, that's the balance, right? That's where the business meets the family time, and that's where it comes together. Some people will look at that and go, no, kids should not be working in a factory environment. They should be working in a home environment, surrounded by suburban homes with, the neighbors' kids, even if they're homeschooling, that, what I'm trying to say? So that there is no right and wrong. And I think this business is amazing for that, because it allows us to decide where along that line it happens. Compared to, for example, if you wanted to get into hospitality, you can't do it that way. You have to go to the restaurant. And if your kids want to see you, they have to do homework at the restaurant. Anyone who has had family members who run like a fish and chip shop, a Chinese restaurant, Italian restaurant, you get the idea, right? Like the kids, if the kids want to see dad or mom, they go to the restaurant. There's a designated table at the restaurant where the kids sit. There's toys, there's homework, whatever that's there, like little stationery box. And all the customers that come regularly, they know that's the family table. They don't sit there. So there are definitely a lot more restrictions with other businesses, but with reselling, we definitely can pick where along that line we want the family and the business to kind of meet, and then progress backwards or forwards. That's pretty cool. I'm doing reselling coming from a FIFO industry. Was doing 3 or 4 week swings, 12-hour days, missed out on so much money. Was awesome, but wasn't making me happy. Agreed. And I feel like one of the biggest stresses with I guess family life is if your kids aren't sorted, everybody suffers, right? So if you if you make less money but your kids are more joyful, if your kids are learning, they're thriving, they feel settled, um, that makes everybody's life easier. Makes everybody's lives better. Yeah. His environment allows a staff member or himself to step in whenever someone else is away or leaves, allows the task to be done straight away, no need to work out where things are at. Yes, that's very true as well. Um, the plug and play nature of it is quite impressive. Yeah, because like even just the phone thing, right? If you're an Android user versus an Apple user, pick up the wrong phone and some people get lost. They definitely work slower. So yeah, he's definitely standardized it for the dumbest person in the room, which is pretty cool. Because a lot of resellers would go, no, I actually want the best tech, I want the best this, I want the best that. But that would also make the hiring process a lot harder. That would make the you just cause, what's the word? Like simple example would be even back when I was working at the bank, I could touch type and I would work very quickly on a computer. And then there were older staff members who, like old enough that they were around when ATMs were first introduced, and they were around when computers first came into banks and into branches. And you still see this like hesitancy to log on. And then when they log on, they'll say things like, "Oh, just give me a moment while I put in my password," and they will speak the actions, whereas we don't do it. We just done. And just that alone provides, I think, it leads to definitely a sense of division within a work environment. Uh, Leads to a sense of inadequacy. So by standardizing that, I like that everybody's on the same page. Everybody is just as capable of applying and working. And then from a performance management point of view, there is no excuse, which I like. Because when I think one of the podcast episodes with Chris, he was saying um, that I think he's got like, I think 4 or 5 people who come in and work, and like there's one person who just refuses to do things the same way. But then he would just tell them like, hey, you're choosing to stay half an hour later for the same pay. Everybody else leaves, you're still staying half an hour later because you want to do things that way. And there's no argument, because there's no like, I don't know how to use Excel, or I don't know how to use a Mac, or my fingers are too small to hold this giant iPhone Pro Max that you use because I've got smaller hands. It's just standard small camera. Everything is doable. Yeah. So in that sense, it's definitely very beneficial what he does. Two of my kids, I have now turned 18. Wouldn't change that time for all the money in the world. Aww. Cool. Great. Um, Great topic, Megan. That's a great video. You guys should go watch it, and also, um, rather than pick it apart and see why it doesn't work, see how it actually can work, and you'll find that if there's even one thing that you take on, you make improvements. All right, we start that timer. Let's get more listings done. Woo woo. Who is here? Mr. Roberts is here. Hello, hello. Read through the chat. There are some very motivated people in here. Not sure if I will ever do an all-nighter taking photos. I have been on the sick list for a few days, but I need to start listing lots. Need a coffee and to take a few photos. Be back in 11 minutes, which is now. What's everyone going to do for lunch, by the way? I decided to just have a really big breakfast so that I'll have something else to eat once this whole session is done. Talking about the E-Myth book. I have read portions of it. I haven't actually finished it though. But I've also heard many podcasts comment on it and agree. Rachel S, hello, first time here. Welcome. How did you hear about the session? And yeah, how did you find us? How did you find us? And how have you found the session so far? I'll wait for you to reply and finish this listing as well. Came over from Mel's videos. Cool. Well, welcome. I hope you find this session super productive. Well, everyone who comes and stays for the full session tends to. Most people tend to stay for at least half. You don't have to stay for the full thing, but what you'll find is if you find it helpful when you stay for half, you'll probably end up taking enough photos to stay for the full thing. And a lot of the regulars in this session, you'll notice a few of these names. They will actually take enough photos to make it a staple. So every Tuesday night and then Friday morning, it's like dedicated listing time. So the rest of the week, don't even think about listing. So where are you in Australia? That's probably the best question to ask. Are you in Australia? Are you overseas? We do these sessions Tuesday night, AEST 9 p.m. So that's Melbourne time, 9:30 p.m. And then Friday 10 a.m. Melbourne time. So one to cater to the morning crowd, one to cater to the night crowd. For now it's just 2 sessions, but maybe more in the future. Who knows? For myself, a bit about myself. I sell toys, so I do have an actual reselling business. YouTube is very much an on the side thing. The listing live streams are consistent because it helps me get my listing done as well. I am sitting on 29 listings at the moment, so I've done that since we've started the session an hour and a half ago. We do 30 minutes of listing, 10 minutes of chat Q&A, which is now. And then if there's nothing much to comment on, we start another timer and then we do another 30 minutes. Sometimes if there's not enough to talk about, which sometimes can be, if you meet up twice a week, there will be moments when there is nothing to talk about because we've done it already. In which case, then we'll just keep listing. I think on Tuesday night we did 3 lots of half an hour just back to back because there was nothing much happening in the chat and people who were still here just wanted to keep going. So yeah, twice a week. New South Wales, cool. Whereabouts in New South Wales? We've got a few New South Wales people here as well. Bathurst, cool. Megan's still here. Stopped for a feed, but back into it now. Awesome. I sell toys, trading cards mostly. Okay, cool. We have some trading cards people here. So Justin's a trading cards person, and Justin, you're WA, right? No, sorry, you're New South Wales from memory. Oh no, wait, Rockhampton. I think Justin, you're in Rockhampton from memory, Queensland. So we've got some trading cards people, toys people here. Cool. So I'm a reseller wants to know, what kind of cards do you sell? Justin, yikes! I moved. Didn't know it. sorry. My bad. Yeah, you card people, have a chat. Just trying to figure out where I'm about to list a toy card. I'm trying to figure out whereabouts it's from. It's... $30 listings. Whew. Tom's. Whoa, people joining in. What up? Raymond Mayberry, first time from Nashville. Hello. Welcome. This is a listing session. So what happens is 30 minutes of listing, 10 minutes of chat Q&A. We're now in the Q&A session, and very soon we'll roll into a half an hour listing session, during which time I say absolutely nothing so that it's quiet, everyone gets work done. The idea being is, if this becomes a staple in your week, you'll get all your listings done during the Tuesday night session we do and the Friday morning session we do. And what I reckon is, if you are listing for, let's just say you do 2 hours of listing twice a week, that's more than sufficient, and you'll feel like you don't have to worry about listing ever again, unless, of course, you are selling faster than that rate. Yeah. We generally cover quite a few questions as well during the Q&A session. So the chat continues to happen. Some people who are here just want to chat. That's fine. That's why the chat's there. But during the times when I'm completely quiet, those who want to focus can focus too. So welcome, Raymond. Welcome. Rachel does 90% Pokemon. Wow. Okay, that's a very big market. Landlord wants to do an inspection. I have not had one since I started eBay. This could be a fun couple of weeks. You should exchange notes with Blake, Life of a Reseller. He's doing inspections as well, because I think his landlord's looking at selling the place. New rule: every time I go outside, I have to take something to the bins. Things I will never list and not worth giving away. And it's the little thing. It's like, if you just move one, if you think about the number of times you go out to go to the toilet, to go get a drink of water, to go answer the door, if you just take one thing every time you leave the room, you'll be surprised how much you can actually clear. Sagan's into Pokemon. I sell a lot more cards, Pokemon and basketball. I only sold one card this month, I think. I sell anything, sports cards, Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, One Piece. How do you feel about those Pokemon skateboards? The way I feel about Pokemon skateboards is the same way I feel about Prime and Supreme. What kind of toys do you sell, Rachel? I do toy cars, toy trains, action figures, planes, and the occasional doll. But it's one of my smaller, mostly things with wheels. Skateboards are cool. My fiance was devastated he couldn't get one. Yeah, I've heard very limited allocation, very small allocation for all the stores that did have them. Yeah. I think when you have social media around a lot of things, and now everybody wants to get a clip of some sort of social media hype, these things never last long on the shelves, because every YouTuber, every TikToker, every Instagrammer, they see it as an opportunity, so they'll just rush and get it just for the content. And if we think that eBay is hard because people don't know their numbers, I think social media is people are even more delirious on social media because of that potential. Okay, so on eBay, you put in the work, it's not going to be an exponential shoot. It's not going to go to the moon overnight. There's no virality when it comes to eBay. You pick an item, if it happens to be a bolo, you get a single good sale. Might take a while, might be tomorrow it sells. You don't know. But the point being is, you have to stack it very gradually, like a traditional business. But with social media, just because of that potential spike, a lot of people making bad investments on things, which then affects us as resellers because we do need those products as well. And so, yeah, like the skateboards, the Prime Energy, the Supreme stuff, limited run sneakers, all these people wanting to buy them just for the unboxing video without any guarantee or even a concept of what kind of return on investment the video will get. And which is a shame because you'll see some really awesome items get unboxed, but the person who's doing the camera work is rubbish, and then that whole video just flops. It doesn't get the views that it should get. So yeah. So when people say thrifts, social media ruins reselling, yes, but I don't think in the thrift store prices going up sense. I think a lot of the times it's just people getting stuff for the sake of a video, and then we never see the item again. I think our town had 2 and staff got them. Yeah, that happens too. With me with toy cars, same thing. I don't even bother. I don't even bother trying to get new cars anymore, just because, like, if you try and get Hot Wheels off the shelf, you pay $2. Some of them are worth like 10. I don't even bother anymore because most of the Kmart's, Big W's that they have them, most of the staff already clean up before it goes onto the rack. So they just change the focus to clearing out full collections that are actually worth it dollar wise. Welcome for tuning in. Nice. Thank you, Jody. I sell some Littlest Pet Shop Pokemon figures. I'm working on a few niches. The Littlest Pet Shop stuff, the LOL Surprise, all those ones. I tried. I did not enjoy it. Too many tiny pieces. It almost felt like that game with the chops. You go to carnivals, you got the chopstick and the marbles. The bowl of marbles and the chopsticks, and you're trying to pick from one bowl to another. It felt like that kind of stress. And I started, and when I realized that, I just didn't want to do any doll related things because I just found it too hard. Good luck with the inspection. Hope you're feeling better. Only did an all-nighter because I need to clear my lounge room and it's school holiday so I can sleep in. What are the Pokemon skateboards? Real? No, so these are like so Jody, these are skateboard decks that sort of wooden piece that were printed on with Pokemon stuff, but they also came in like blind bags. So if you think about how Pokemon cards are in bags that you can't see through, and you open them to see what you pull, it was essentially like a skateboard pool. So it was a skateboard in a bag, and very limited run. And people would open. I think it was Pokemon Santa Cruz, and then essentially you would open the bag and pull out the skateboard, and you would see whether you got a Charizard or whatever. People were chasing particular skateboards. I tried selling low, moved very slowly. Low surprise have way too many accessories to track. No kidding. Especially, and that's the thing, right? You've got small items, like tiny items in blister packs, and then when you go to Google to try and look at the images, it's so hard to tell. You're like, oh, am I missing something? I can't tell. Is that an accessory? Is that part of the doll? And then better late than never. Exactly. And guess what? We're gonna go, if we go all the way to 2:00, you're bang on the halfway mark. So I guess you're still, if you stay till 2, you get a passing grade. Does that mean that you have 3 all-night photo sessions a year? How many days of worth of listings was that for? I think I saw the Charizard sold for $8K US at auction. Wow. So here's the thing. Knowing that there is that kind of a payoff for an item, do you join the chase or do you just settle for the bread and butter because the potential for not getting paid is high? Or how many of you guys have that kind of like inner bounty hunter in you? Like the moment you see things like that, if you know that you can do it, you slowly keep an eye out for those things. For me, I don't have that bounty hunter in me. So therefore, not that I don't have the hunt in me, the bounty hunter thing is different. It's like you're willing to take on the risk of losing your life and burning a bunch of bridges because the win is worth it. I know that I feel like it's almost like a personality trait. I don't think I feel like my community isn't bounty hunter types, but I could be wrong. And I'd love to hear if one of you guys, if any of you guys are in that category of like really chasing bolos. I'm not like that. So yeah. But who is? Keen to know. And if you have actually done the whole like adventure and actually gotten it and seen the reward, if you've chased the grail, if you've done the Indiana Jones, let me know. I try and steer clear of opening stuff now. It's fun but a gamble. Yeah. I can hyper focus when I have energy. I did 47 listings. I could schedule some, but mainly trying to list for the mums shopping. Yep. Recognize the season we're in, Jody. You're right. Lots of mum shopping right now. Holidays. This school holiday period is the period that if mums want to get ahead for Christmas, this is when they do most of their spending. I was chasing those cards hard back in 2020, 2021. I would send them off to PSA and get them graded. Prices were crazy. Anything that is worth making a decent profit on, I won't chase it, but if I see it. Trouble is the nice weather means not many on the computer. Well, we've all been to the playground and we've all seen mums not looking at their children. We all know that there are mums who will go to the playground with 4 other mums, not because they want to spend time together, but because they want to be able to just hopefully one person is looking at the kids at any other point in time, and then the other 3 or 4 can either be on their phone or talk to each other. So I think no, I don't computer no, but on their phones, yes. And therefore, if your listings are promoted, which means that they are, when a mom looks for an item, if let's say they are not able to sort by price, are you showing up at the top of the search? If you want to cater to that market of mums who have a very short attention span, potentially disrupted attention span, promote your listings. Which is why I think a lot of people will go, I don't do promoted listings, I don't need it. If someone wants my item, they will sort by price. But not everybody thinks to. And if you think about the times where you're doing a listing, your kids come into the room, you leave the room, you forget to change the SKU. You come back, you just launch the listing, you completely forget about it. The number of times where, I've got this clicker, right? It's kind of accurate. And I say kind of because sometimes I'll be listing, I'll read the chat and I forget to click it. So I know roughly I've done 30 listings, could be 35, could be 28. I don't know. So that's like, so I think if promoted listings put you at the top, such that a mum who is searching, wants to buy, and she just wants to do it and then move on, they'll buy. Could I explain why some people buy at asking price when they could send you an offer, right? Parents didn't mean to exclude dads. Nah, we know. We dads don't get offended when you just say mums. We know mums do the Christmas shopping. I can't wait until Christmas Day to see what my kids get. I do most of the Christmas shopping actually for my kids because I enjoy that more than Jen does. But Jen does most of the throughout the year stuff. So like the clothes and So if you guys saw my Instagram reel of my son carrying like a Ninja Turtles backpack, like a vintage one with like the padded shells and everything. So she buys every other backpack. That's the one I end up buying. Should I stalk the playgrounds and hand out my business cards? No. I think shopping online is an anonymous process and it should remain that way. Just set them up to keep clicking. That's all it is, right? If you put barriers in place, if you insist they must send you like I still see listings on eBay where the description says, we combine shipping, please send us a please request a total, we will send you an invoice. Nobody has time for that anymore. Nobody expects to have to do that anymore. And so make sure your postage rules are sorted. Add 10% for every additional parcel if you have to, so that you make money on the shipping. And guess what? People are willing to pay for the additional shipping without having to think about it. If people have to think about the process of getting something, they will move on to something else. That just comes to reselling being more prevalent. Everybody can resell now. There's a competitor for every item on eBay, and therefore you owe it to yourself not to let them go elsewhere. Make it as simple as possible. Sort out your postage policies. If you don't know how to, let us know in the chat and we'll talk you through it. So that when somebody clicks and clicks and clicks and clicks and clicks, it leads to them with a thank you for your order. It'll be on its way. That's all you want. No stopping, no reading, no contacting the seller. Don't do that. Definitely not during the busiest period of the year, which is Christmas. I need to know more about postage policies, please. I don't have mine set up. All right. Raymond's gone. The chase is fun, but it takes up too much time with no guarantees. This year, I've started buying bigger buys, and it has definitely paid off. Cool. Just comping. If you see really bad listings overall, do you send the other sellers message? Oh, of course not. No, I do not send them a message because I have been burnt before from doing that. I've sent messages to people before, thinking I'm being nice, and then I get told to essentially. And so, nah, I just feel like if people want help, they'll come in. If people want help, they look for help. If people don't want help, just like how YouTube is so accessible to everybody. If you want to improve, you'll find a way to improve and insert yourself amongst a community of people who help you to improve. Being on YouTube for the last year and being on Facebook the last 2 years, in terms of reselling community, just because there's a means to be improved doesn't mean people will. And so trying to stick your nose into people's business, most people don't appreciate it, from my experience anyways. And it's my time, right? I can put my time telling you guys how to do stuff, and you're here wanting to improve. Messaging random people doesn't lead to that kind of take up. I too need to know how you set up combined shipping. I thought I did it correctly, but I didn't. By going through this era means that you are learning to make your listings better. If you see really bad listings, do you send the other sellers message? No, like there are some people who have sent me messages in the past as well. Like there was one person who said, I remember listing a plane, like a Lego plane, and it was a propeller plane, right, with a single wing. And this person, I think, must have been like a plane enthusiast, because he was like, this is not a. So I put on the listing a monoplane. I put a monoplane and a biplane, and then, because when people think of propeller planes, they tend to search biplanes. So it was more of an SEO thing. And he was like, no, this is not a biplane. Bi means 2 wings. I'm like, yes, I know that, but nobody is searching monoplane. People search duplo plane, and then people might search duplo biplane. They don't ever search propeller plane. Like monoplane wasn't a word that people search unless you were like a plane enthusiast looking for like a model plane. And so, like, you get people like that who will try and correct you, and you go, yeah, I get it, but I'm not trying to be, accurate scientifically. I'm trying to move the item. And so, yeah, that's what it means with the whole messaging thing. Let's go through the last few messages and then do some postage policies. I've sent a few people with what item. I've sent a few people with what the item is, and they have been grateful. Okay. It was a doll. They had vintage doll. Told them what type it was. Here's what I think. If you're trying to help people to improve their listings, why are you doing it? I'm going to choose my words very carefully. Because I don't want you guys to think that I'm being selfish, even though I am. And this is going to come across a bit mixed. So I'm going to try. Bear with me. And I recognize that if I piss somebody off, they can just leave the live stream, and that's okay. So here goes. Everybody can improve, and they can improve over time and with repetition.
everyone also has limited time. And so therefore, if you're going to spend your time helping people, you need to understand that you're also not a charity and you need to improve your business. Granted, if you do it every so often because you happen to see a listing and you want to help people, that's okay. But I feel like the reseller should actually, if you see a listing poorly listed and the price is of a price that you can make money because you can list it better, you should just buy it, do the right thing, and then list it. Do the correct thing on the list, buy the listing, and then just make the money on the listing instead. Because SEO, like search engine optimization or search engine sub optimization, should be a means for you to make money as a reseller. That's how I look at it. So therefore, if somebody is wanting $99 for an item that is only worth $99, but their titles are wrong, you let them be. Use them as a price reference to then list your item correctly, and you will sell your item before they do. That's how I look at their existence. I don't see their existence as an opportunity to be charitable. So there are many people who compete with me, right? Their titles are off, they're missing keywords, but the listing still shows because Google will still show the listing every so often. If somebody searches for the item, they might hit on one search but not another search. I don't want to let them make more sales because if they make more sales, I'm competing for those search slots. So, in a sense, being nice works against you, especially if you are directly competing with them. And I know we say that there's plenty of fish in the sea and every category is wide and whatever. However, there are some categories where you will discover the ceiling of the category because Terapeak tells you how many items sells. If you really go hard on the category or within a particular search, you will find that I'm already selling 70% of all the sales in the world. I really want to keep it that way because I'm clearly doing something right. Sharing that pie is not self-serving for you, if that makes sense. So you're a business person after all, and I think that's what it is. You can be nice. I'm not saying don't be nice, and I'm not saying try and screw people over. But if you're working hard to improve and you're not getting anything in return from helping other people take a slice of your pie, don't do it. Because you will realize very quickly that there's a capacity of how much you can list. And when you reach that capacity, you're going to want to maximize your return for the time spent. And at that point, you'll regret helping everybody take that slice away from you. That's what I'm saying. And I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen personally as well. I think I've done it. I think I've done the topic justice, but that was a hard one to talk about. Paul's like getting spicy. It is. It's a spicy topic because you don't want to be. Everybody wants to be seen as generous and benevolent, but if you're trying to use this business as a way to get more time for yourself, more flexibility, and whatever, and especially if you're think about it, right? People who list items and don't maximize the 80 characters. Okay, I'm not talking about those who don't know. I'm talking about those who literally don't care and compound their level of not caring. All the denim sellers who don't put the word jeans in the title or the word pants in the title. All the people who put who will put pants but don't put the word long or short. And then they will sell similar. And you look at all their listings, all their titles, everyone else's title is like this, their titles are like this. So they're compounding their problem, okay? But here's the thing. The moment you tell them, you give them the hack, they will now compound the correct thing very lazily. These people don't spend time thinking about their listings. They're not spending time wondering, oh, I could have used that word, this word. But you, on the other hand, started with this listing title, and somehow along the way, you got to here. So you're spending all that time thinking, getting the reward for that thinking, and you're telling me you want to just give them this. The person who will lazily replicate it. No, you're not. You have to play defense. That's what I'm saying. Because the barrier to entry is so low for reselling, you have to play defense. It's the responsible thing to do. It's costing you time, brain space, especially when you resell at home. And let's be honest here, most of us, when we started reselling, we didn't switch off. It's not like we went to work, came home, and didn't think about it. Whilst you were watching a movie with your kid, you were thinking. while you were having a conversation with your spouse, you were still thinking because it was something that literally lived in your head rent free. So the fact that that happens, right, tells you owe it to yourself to guard that intellectual property. It's unique to you. The way you see your business, the way you see your category is unique to you. You have spent the time and energy and mental and emotional capacity to be present and away from your kids when they were talking to you because you were thinking about, oh yeah, that t-shirt is worth money. Why is he wearing it? Why did I rip the tags off that toy I just gave to my kid? Is that water bottle worth anything? Like you were not present when at the start because you were just thinking. You owe it to yourself to play defense because you've actually given it all that thought. And if someone doesn't want to give it that thought, do not reward it. That's all I'm saying. Especially if you're going to reward it at your own expense. That's like, yeah, no. Don't give away your secret recipe. I mean, help when people want help. In an environment like this, right, where I'm helping you, you guys are helping each other, it's a mutually beneficial thing. Somebody who wants to insert themselves in this kind of environment, more and more, it's different from just helping every random along the way, especially if it's a direct competitor because you happen to come across them whilst you're comping. Yes. I feel like the more I talk, the more I'm digging. Or am I digging a hole? Let me know. I feel like I've divided the chat already. Should do a poll. You weren't selling Matilda doll all the time, but you could be. You could be. Coffee live listing and cha-ching sound from my phone. Could life get any better? Beautiful wife and smiling children in the same space. Use the logic when searching for sewing machines. When people use sewing machines, I know that they don't have the I know they don't have the item. Take advantage of that. Yep. Cha-ching is good. GG should make the cha-ching song. I don't like to make things easy. Most of the characters on the listings from the person had asterisks. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's funny, right? You'll see people make their titles stand out, but limit how many searches their titles actually show up in. Isn't that interesting? It's like out of the 10 possible searches, this title only qualifies for 4. But in those 4, we'll notice your title. But everyone else qualifies for 10 searches. Yes. Let me know your thoughts on what I've just said. Where are you? I feel like it's a spectrum. I don't think it's either or. Granted, there are some, and most people, I think, if you spend enough time, if you spend all your available time actually working on your business, you will find you don't even know you will find that you're not in the mindset to help people who don't know what they're doing. Yeah, when I see bad listings, I think of myself, can I buy it? Yeah, when I see bad listings, can I buy it and can I make money on it if I do it properly? Can I use it as a price reference because they've way overpriced it? At which point then I have an opportunity to then underprice it or price it properly and then move a bunch of volume. Say thank you, fix it and move on. Yeah. There is what the fitness. I'll let a few more of you guys chime in and then we'll start another timer. Fully agree with me. Don't do the work for sellers that are too lazy to do it themselves. And let's be clear. Lazy, as much as I think lazy is probably a bit too judgmental. I would say passive and not proactive. Because there are some who what's the word? Okay. I used to attend multi-level marketing type things because I had friends who wanted to make it big, drive a Porsche and whatever, right? And they get sucked into this whole dream of like, if I do MLMs, those pyramid scheme type things, I'll make lots of money. And I just come along, as a friend, have a listen, curious about the business model. There are those people who go to these things and they have this formula mindset, which is like, tell me the formula. If I do A, B, and C, I'll get this outcome. and then they ignore the results may vary portion of it. They ignore the circumstances, whatever. They just go formula equals outcome, right? And then they do it, they fail, they get disappointed. And then there are people who sit through these things and they actually want to break down the model and go, wait, if I see the example they're giving on the PowerPoint is that if you do this many people, then you'll get this kind of return. But then you go, wait, but then if they don't purchase the amount that is required, da 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 da, and then if you break it all down, you go, actually, I don't see it working. I think it's a lot more work than it should be. And then the thing that they do to gaslight you is they'll say, well, if you don't do the work, or if you, I guess some people are lazier than others, right? It's not lazy, it's proactive. And so I think likewise, there are people who do eBay who go, I'll just do it this way and then multiply it, and then if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, then whatever, they're not going to figure it out. And then there are those of us who are here trying to every day think, can I make the photos better? Can I make the listings better? And I think it's not laziness, because they still do work, but it's that proactivity, it's thinking about it. And it's also, but it's funny because those are the same people who, whenever you talk to them about any sort of financial topic, they very quickly go to this thing called passive income. They'll say, oh, this thing is passive income. I do this for passive income, And you're like, no, you still need to do work. You still need to proactively manage it. It's not passive the way you think. But they'll be like, no, if I invest in this, it's passive income. The money will just come. Because if I just invest in it and don't think about it, it's just always going to trend upwards. That's very few things are like that. So I think not lazy, proactive. So if you're proactively thinking about it, you really shouldn't give it away. So in that sense, we do agree. Yes. And also, I think like if it's very easy to weed out people who are not proactive, because you're like in a conversation, you'll want to go deeper, and you can tell they're just like they're glazing over because they've never actually given it that thought. Neither are they curious about it. Neither are they going to give it the time because they never have. Yeah. Good perspective from both sides. Yeah, it's a perspective thing. There is no right and wrong. Sorry, it's a perspective thing. There is no right and wrong, but there is a I don't like you as much now that you have this perspective, as opposed to I used to like you before I knew you had this perspective. It's like there is no right and wrong, both right, but this is the version I prefer, this version of right rather than the other version of right. All right, we got 23 people here. Let's start another session. Another 30 minutes. All right. Where's the chat at? Listing definitely not passive income. Agreed. Agreed. Ooh, so much agree. Hustle. Oh, sorry, Jody. Yes, there is there are postage policies videos on YouTube with Granny's channel. Essentially, what it comes down to is you can tell eBay to calculate this. If you do calculated shipping, you can tell them you have to put all the dimensions in, and it'll calculate it for you, and then eBay will combine it based on what the total cubic size of the end parcel will be. Then you need to just, when you enter dimensions, factor in the additional, like maybe a centimeter either end, if that doesn't throw your item what's the word for it? I'm going blank. The overall size of your item, it doesn't throw it out too much. Because some people, what happens is the mistake with calculated is they enter the item dimensions, they forget about the packaging. When eBay combines it, it doesn't give them enough shipping. That's in summary, that's what it comes down to. If you're like me and you do flat shipping, then you can add a percentage or a dollar value for each additional item. It's not going to be completely accurate to your cost. It's going to be accurate, but it's not to your cost. So, for example, if you're charging, say, $10 for a small satchel, and for every additional item, you add 50 cents. By the end of it, let's say if they buy 10 items, then you'll be essentially $10 plus 9 lots of 50 cents. So that's $14.50. Will $14.50 actually cover the total shipping cost? You would hope so, because you'll be hoping that 10 items that would ship as small satchels shipped together would ship for $14.50. Maybe in a medium satchel or a large satchel. If it's a medium satchel, then I guess you make $1. If it's a large satchel, you may lose 50 cents. But that's the point. If they buy 6 items, you're getting $10 plus 5 lots of 50 cents, so that's $12.50. If you can still ship it in the small, you just ship it in the small, and then you just pocket the difference. So that approach means that for the most part, you end up actually making money on your shipping. And I don't suggest that as a way for you to weasel money from your buyer. I like that approach, and Chris Furlong does the same thing because it makes you not stress about your shipping anymore. And I think a lot of people get scared of shipping multiple items because they are worried the numbers aren't going to add up. Instead of taking the adding up per item, per order view, you just take the overall view. So that's what I do because I don't want to think about shipping. I don't want to think about the math of shipping. All I know is that when I look at how much I pay in shipping and how much I get from shipping, I always make money. And then when you add on the band discount on top of that, you make even more money. And that just helps you to sell more. That's the idea. If you do free shipping, so you've got calculated, flat, and then you've got free. If you do free shipping, you have the option of giving them a discount. You have an option of applying, like say refund an X amount of dollars if you want to. Just bear in mind though, with the free shipping, if buyers don't pay shipping and you're paying for the shipping, when they return the item back to you, you got to fork that out as well because they feel like they didn't have to pay for shipping to begin with. That's the summary of it, and then Grumpy Granny goes through the actual breakdown of the different menus you can do to either add dollar, minus dollar, and also I think you can you can do different policies for different countries. So, for example, if some countries cost more to send to, you can do a postage policy that adds more dollars per item rather than less. It's a lot. Definitely not something that you can hear somebody describe and then you'll get it. Play around with the menus. You may make a couple of mistakes. And thankfully, if you're not doing a lot of sales, you're not going to find the mistakes overwhelming. When you see a mistake, bring it to our attention. We'll fix it. You've got me on Insta anyway. Just message me. And we can nut it out when those mistakes happen as well, because that will really make you go, yep, don't do this, do that instead. Otherwise, it's just all going to be a bunch of options. Yeah. I have a question for other sellers regarding best offers and how to handle low balls. My standard policy is that I only reduce prices when a customer is making multiple purchases. I do get some very aggressive responses, so then I thank them and add to my block list. Hit decline, block them. Um, I have a auto decline on all my offers, but also just because I want to have to think about it. If somebody messages me, saying they want multiple items and they bother to send me screenshots of the items that they want, so they've added to cart already, and then they'll send me the screenshot of the cart, then I will lower the price, make a custom listing, and let them buy it that way. I will say I will title the listing custom listing for person. So, for example, that if their name is Khaleesi385, it will just read as custom listing for Khaleesi, not even their user, not the full username. The idea being here that I don't want that custom listing to turn up in comps so that other people can know what my willingness is to drop. Granted, I guess if you go to my stores and you type in custom and sort by sorts, you'll see those listings pop up. But when somebody's listing an item and they're comping, I don't want that low price to turn up in the comps. I want them to still list high if they think they should list high. That way, I have that wiggle room if I want to list below them. So be wise about it. But yeah, auto decline on all my listings. I have an auto accept on all my listings as well. And then, granted, if they send offers, auto accept. Then the postage policy takes care of the shipping, and then they pay. So once again, lots of clicking, no waiting. And yes, I do add to the block list those who message when it's significantly below the auto decline. John hasn't moved from his desk compared to the 1,000 times in the last hour. My 1,000 times in the last hour have tested the Walkman, though. Guess also. It's actually not that hard to stay in the same spot doing listings for 4 hours. However, if someone says, "Is it hard to sit down in the same spot for 4 hours?" I would still say yes, because saying it is one thing, doing it is another. Time just flies by when you're having fun. And listings, one of the things you just keep doing, and then next thing you know, 4 hours has gone by. Like I thought, I this is the first time we've done the 10 a.m. start. I thought I'd be hungry by now. I'm starting to get a bit peckish, but I'm surprised that I'm not hungrier than I am. This is almost 2. It's 1 hour from 2 o'clock. I might be really hungry by 2, but I don't feel like it's gonna be that way. So this is encouraging. Do you find the daily requirement group worth it? Megan says, absolutely, I do. I've been there for a couple of years now, pretty much from when I went full time. I admit, probably for the first year, I wasn't getting the most out of the group. There was an overload of information, and it can take a while to get your head around it all and the navigation. Yep, but I worked it out, and the content was suited to me and who I am best to network with. Cool, cool. I've never tried the group. I don't have the time to be part of the group, and I think the timing was also a bit off. I remember way before YouTube and me being on Facebook for reselling purposes, I did consider doing it, and I could not commit to the wake up time. And because I couldn't commit to the wake up time to join the sessions, I had to find other ways to learn how to resell properly. But I think that's it. Like it's a great resource from what I'm hearing. But yeah, they if you can't commit to it, it's one of those things where it's an ongoing cost, but you're not getting ongoing value, and most people can't see past that, despite of how good the value is. It's like the zoo, the zoo pass, right? If you pay for the yearly membership for the zoo pass, you have to go at least 4 times. You don't go if you're not intending to go 4 times, you're not going to see the value of it, regardless of how amazing the animals are for the one time you go. All right, I'm gonna go do toilet break. I need a toilet break, and then we'll start one more session, and that will bring us to 2 p.m. Let me know in the chat, how have your listings been coming along? I've done 44 so far. Wait, people are still talking. What's the haps? Anthony's here. Hello. Going through my dead pile after watching Mel and Tech Sports video. Everybody's doing it apparently. Did my listings last night, knowing today I'd be opening a lot of Pokemon packs. So no listing today, just ring packs and here for the chats. It's better to do it with company than no company. I've done unboxing. It's not fun. Not fun alone. Sorry, not fun alone. And funny story, when I did do the NBA cards, that one time I bought that massive crate, I was selling a laptop, and there were issues with the laptop, and while we were waiting for it to restart, reset it, I actually asked the guy who was buying it from me with his girlfriend who was there, would you like to help me open some cards? And they did. So I even had help, impromptu help. I think there is people all over the world doing that very thing, listing and postage first every day, and then I'm culling every afternoon. The dead piles around the world started to shake their boots when that video came out. Great content. I'm trying to sort some of my dead pile too. I've got a new spot for it to go, but it'll take a while. Take your mic off. Oh, you mean this? Found me an LCM's bar. Things that are in your house when you've got kids. The mic is very sensitive. Oh, I was like, what is this funny texture? It's got unicorns. Look at that. Rice bubbles with marshmallow and crunchy unicorns. I thought I would enjoy this, but I'm not. It's sickeningly sweet. Mm. Yep. Try not to move. Same here. Why do you think I'm stuck in this chair for 4 hours? My local Osho has half price clothing. I've been tempted to jump in the car all day. I just hear text saying, "Not for you! Not for you!" So much fun here. Opening to build the master set. Doubles in the pile. It's a list on eBay. All right, starting another timer. All right, last timer of the session. Everyone go hard. Go hard. What? That was too fast. Too fast. Too fast. Okay, what's happening in the chat? Such a small world. Wait. My daughter was the one that called Justin to tell him his furniture was ready. What? So cool. Jody is asking about Sarah. I'm no longer putting items into my too hard basket. It's all too hard. One item at a time. Yeah, one item at a time. I need to do like 10 items at a time. I opened a case of ETV so far, plus one ETV. My stepdad got me 3 cases of ETV to go. Wow. What's the setup like? Is it like giant dining table, pool table type thing where you put it out, or are we doing it on the floor? Have you all had any luck? Look at your metrics. I have. The only metric I've looked at is, have my sales been going up relative to my number of listings? Have I maintained? I'm looking at the number of old listings that I have. I'm looking at the number of listings that I ignore would be those that still have the old postage that haven't updated, because when I updated them previously, which should have been about 4 months ago, 5 months ago, those ones that had offers on them didn't update, and then they're still sitting there. So then culling prices. Those are the revisions that I do, comparing what I have to what the competitors have, checking in on whether there have been new listings in the searches that I'm competing in that I haven't taken note of, making new save searches so that every day when I'm going through my save searches, I'm noticing what's coming up onto the market. Jody is saying you need to do that more often. It's checking metrics is something you do every so often with the intention of learning what metrics you can rely upon for you to function without, I guess, digging yourself a hole. So for example, if you have a metric like for every $10,000 in sales I have, I'm allowed to spend 5,000. And then you do that for 2 months and you realize, no, actually that doesn't work because I haven't accounted for some expenses. Then you learn about those expenses. So essentially you're putting in place metrics are just parameters. You're putting in place parameters for you to test and see if you can function. Once you reach a certain limit, you update those metrics to a point where it's reasonable, you run, but you recognize the limits of what they are. So sometimes you get metrics that work at a current scale. You get a whole bunch of sales and then you increase that, and then you realize, wait, this actually doesn't work anymore because the percentage made sense because the dollars made sense, but now that I'm spending way more dollars at that same percentage, it no longer makes sense. So it's more parameters for you to learn what works for your business rather than there being a fixed number. Because, for example, if you applied the $20 profit rule, right? That's one of the famous daily metric things. $20 profit items only. My businesses won't run because Hot Wheels cars don't have that. Trains don't have that. Planes don't have that. Most action figures don't have that. But if you're able to curate, that's why I do the separate store thing. Most dolls don't have that, you know. But if I do the separate store thing and the buyer buys multiple items, so that most orders are 5 to 10 items, and there's the occasional one two item order, it's worth my while but that's because I've given thought to what my buyer likes to buy and made the experience for them. So if this cannot be, if I can't do $20 profit items across the board, that metric doesn't work for me. What can I do to still make it a viable business? There are limitations though. I'm not going to be a millionaire doing this business, right? Because to be a millionaire, there's a lot more grinding involved. Once again, there is no set rule. For you, it may be a case of $50 or more profit. Otherwise, you're not doing it because your processing time is a lot higher. It takes me 20 seconds to photograph an item, right? Tech takes 30 seconds, me 20 seconds, because toy cards are a lot easier to just flip and snap and snap and snap and snap and snap and snap. But if you're selling wedding dresses that require a lot more time to lay out gently and photograph, your metric might be $200 of profit. Otherwise, you don't pick it up because of the time it takes to process. So it's one thing in amongst a bunch of things that have to work together so that it's worth your while to do. So Jody, please don't feel like you're hearing someone say one metric, someone say another metric, and you feel like they must compete and you have to pick one. That's not how it works, and that's not the mindset you should, I guess, analyze it through. I hope I've explained it adequately. And it's not something, and also, please bear in mind, you have to test it for yourself to see if it works. You cannot just take it and hope that it works, and if it doesn't work, get confused and stuck. You have to test and assess. Mic off when you go to. I might have to mute it. I didn't realize the mic was that sensitive because the mic was here and I went there. But cool. Thanks for letting me know. I'll do that. 1, 2 hard stack at a time. 2 of 1 minute to think about of all the others. So I'm focusing on one bit by bit. Yes. To the point about metrics as well. Pick one, work on it, figure out if it works, move to another thing. Don't feel like everything has to come together at one go. Paul had a pain in the something customer buying items, standard shipping, wanted express, also to not combine them and then printed label, asked why it hasn't been lodged yet, 95 years old, cut him some slack. I had one where they bought standard shipping, sent me a note saying it needs to arrive by this date. eBay gives you a range. They picked the date that was more of an express shipping date. I'm just ignoring the note because you clearly can see when it should be estimated to be delivered to you, and you're telling me and you're asking me to do something so that you get something which is not within my control. Those notes I just ignore. I don't know if you guys do it or not, but when I get notes like that, I just ignore them because to me, if you need an item by a certain date, message me and ask me. I'll tell you whether I can send it or not. Don't go buy the item, leave a note, and be like, give it to me by this date. Yeah, I'm ignoring that note because quite frankly, you have the information in front of you. You can see the estimated delivery dates. If you're not sure if it's going to arrive, message me. You're capable of doing so. The information you've conveyed in the note is something you can convey in a message. If I tell you no, don't buy it. But clearly, the item's important enough to you that you must have it, that you went and bought it. So therefore, I'm just going to ship it normally. Express options there. You didn't pick it. That's how I see it. I don't like people who just leave a note, and especially notes that are like, do things that are beyond your control, and I'm going to hold you responsible. Just ignore them. What do you think? Couple of divisive opinions in today's live stream. What else? Listing the rest of my National Geographic by the end of tomorrow, Mills and Boon by the end of Tuesday. They are selling, yet I still have a pile. Time to fix those listing piles. Keep going, Mr. Roberts. Keep going. We're doing well. Google Lens, great tool for working out what's what. I think this was. I need to list some weak accessories and PlayStation 2 I bought but have no clue. Any tips? Jody, whilst reselling is very much a process of learning, buying and learning, please keep that under control because you want to know more than you don't know. I think that's what it is. You want it to be, if you're buying a box, if you're buying 10 items, maybe here's a metric for you. If you're going to go out and buy 10 items today, you're only allowed to buy one item you don't know. Let's try that. Because you don't want the ratio to flip so much such that you're going, ooh. Next thing you know, you've got a whole bunch of items you have no idea about, and then you get stuck because you don't have the time to process it. That could be a metric. That might be a metric that's more worth doing than a margin metric, so that you build up your knowledge base. I used that 30 minutes to fill another carton of cult items. Cool. I have heard about the $20 profit, but McDonald's don't run on that small profit, large volume. Correct, but you don't have But here's the thing, Jody, you don't have large volume. Neither do you have the capacity to process large volume, do you? Is it? So I think that you have to. So that's a great example of, yes, while not every business operates on those margins, however, they have an army of staff. They have they created drive-throughs to increase the volume of work for that army of staff to do. In your business, none of that exists. Neither do you have the capacity nor the finances to create that flow. So at that volume of sales that is not moving, what profit does it need to be for you to be able to? So in my case, right? Sure, if I was selling the odd toy car here and there, I would argue that it takes a long time for me to create that flow of sales to justify the buying. However, because I have one of the I'm like, I think I'm the number one or number two like used car person on eBay now. In which case, then I've created the sell through. I can keep adding because the selling is happening. So I've essentially created the drive through, so I can justify the high volume, low margin. Bench is now clear. $5 profit is fine when you perfect a fleet of teenagers to do the work. Perfect a fleet. Perfect. Exactly. When they're all robots. When they're all robots who, when you ask them for things outside the ordinary, like, can you please put my burger in a paper wrapper? They look at you and go, I'll check with my manager and see if it's okay. Or they look at you like you're annoying. Let me check with my manager. Every time I ask for the paper wrapper, I already expect there's a chance that the person taking my payment, after they've said I'll check with my manager, will be like, this will be $13.95. Like, why are you so annoying? You're making me do my work differently. That's what happens when you ask something of the perfect McDonald's employee. I have an average profit of 13 to 14. This is including CDs and DVDs for $2 to $6 average profit. Other things with $100 profit, so it's definitely an average. Okay. And I like the $20 profit thing that the daily refinement does. I feel it's more because if you go out and improve, it's a okay. Let me phrase it properly. When you make something a not negotiable, everything else needs to change. So if that's the thing that you're fixating on, you have to source better. You have to find better sources for sourcing better. You can't just go to your normal thrift shops. Essentially, you're saying this cannot change. The $20 profit cannot change. So therefore, if I go to my normal route of 10 thrift stores, if I can't find enough items to sell to make a living, because my bills also don't change, I must then go to 20 thrift stores. I must then go to 30 thrift stores. That's what the approach is meant to achieve. And in so doing, you will learn how to do things better. You will learn how to do more things quicker and be able to repeat that. However, if you say, I can only go to 10 thrift stores, I cannot go any further than that for health reasons, for time constraints, my bills also do not change, then the $20 margin doesn't work. You have to then widen your knowledge of what you can sell, so that you really clear out every single category in those 10 thrift stores, because you're limited by that. So that's really what it comes down to. So for me, for example, I refuse to go thrifting because it takes up too much time. So I want to source on Marketplace and Gumtree, which means that I have to move my geographical markers and include courier fees in a lot of my calculations. I'm competing against people who don't add courier fees to their calculations, right? So therefore I go, okay, how do I make up the courier fees? Because for every shipment I bring in, I'm paying between 20 to 40 bucks. That big one that Jonas helped me to ship from W8, I think that ended up costing $100 to ship in. I have to have a store that gives me high volume of sales, because I'm the leader in the category, so that I can move the stuff quickly, get the money back at a higher price because I've got the largest range. So that's what it looks like when you make something a non-negotiable. DVDs are fun, plus they're easy to store. Yes, so are Hot Wheels cars. And I think that's the session. Any parting thoughts before we head out into this glorious weekend of increasingly warming weather? Also, do we thoughts on the 10 o'clock start? How do we feel? Well, in today's 10:30. Apologies. How do we feel about the earlier start compared to last week with the afternoon? I feel like the energy is better, definitely, with the 10 o'clock start than the 12 p.m. start. Chime in, feedback. This was really fun. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Join us again next time. So Tuesday and Friday, just check the, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Check on there's a live tab. There'll be 2 sessions every week. Tuesday and Friday. There's a few of us in today's session that also do the Tuesday session as well. But there's Tuesday session, we tend to see between 35 and 50 people. So that's more energy, more nighttime energy. 10 a.m. is perfect. Wonderful. I have a slack teenager. Happy sales, everyone. Agreed. Had school assembly. That's why I was late, but a good start time. Awesome. Normally have the patchwork class on Friday, so can do during school holidays. Okay, Jody, but we do see you on Tuesday nights though, so that's all right. At least you get 1 session in the week. More random live streams are good. Random live streams can happen. Streaming twice a week is already a commitment as it is, but I will try and do more random ones. I think you popped in. I think you're referring to the Sunday one we did spontaneously one night last week. Here at Jotster, mine helps me with marketplace items, but I have to cut him in on 50%. That's a pretty significant cut. For me, with toys and the kid, it's pretty cool. He'll sit with me and package cars for, so some if I'm taking photos of like mint condition cars, then he'll put them in like the sandwich bags, the snack size ones, and ziplock them. And then if he does it for an hour, he gets to pick like a toy. He pretty much gets to pick one toy from the garage, and for the most part, he is after like at this point there's like Ninja Turtle, so he'll pick like a character. So for me, it costs me between 10 and 20 bucks in potential sale, or really $2 in cost. So for $2 an hour of work, but really it's more about the bonding time. So for him and me, I'm trying to take photos. So it's quite cute. Because he's 7, he doesn't quite have like super hands as far as dexterity goes. So what happens is I'll be in that 15 to 20 seconds of photographing the car, he needs to ziplock the car. And sometimes he fumbles with it and I actually beat him. So every single car is like a race for me to snap all shots before he bags it. So it's like, he's like, and then just him going, I win. Yeah, it's very cute. I can I send mine to you for sales bootcamp? He's saving for a 3D printer so he can print helmets in one pass. Hopefully or for Etsy. Cool, a bigger printer. I saw those people with the printers the size of like saunas, the one that print those giant Pokemon figurines. Those are crazy. Any more daytime sessions? Will just be Friday for now, Megan, because Mondays. So my helper that was working for me full time, because sales slowed down. Sales slowed down because I also started YouTube. I think that might have been a reason for it. So sales slowed down, or not slowed down, sorry. Sales more or less stayed the same. He was feeling like he felt kind of bad actually, because I was helping him out by giving me a job, but at the same time, he kind of felt like he really should just get a job elsewhere, because this was like the job that would help his wife settle in as a doctor, and so he is now going to go and make his career a priority. In which case, it went down to about 1 day, 2 days a week, and now I'm going to go back to being myself, probably from next week or the week after. In which case, then Monday is packing day. I guess I can live stream while we're packing. That could be one thing, but it won't be the 30 and 10 format that we find very productive, like today. Tuesday night we already have that session. Wednesday night is Chris Furlong's one, so I don't want to cross paths with him. Thursday night I could do it spontaneously depending how I feel, but doing it on Tuesday night and Thursday night was not good because I was just wrecked by Friday. 9:30 to 2 o'clock in the morning. I can do it one night a week. 2 nights a week is a bit hard, especially if I'm back on my own. and then it's Friday morning. So it's Tuesday night, Friday morning. That's like gonna always be the case, and that's gonna continue. Even next week, even next week we've got finals weekend. I'll still do the 10 to 2. So if you guys are still in, I'll do it next week. If anyone is watching the footy finals, I'm not. I don't care, but I'm sure some of you guys here do. So next week's 10 to 2 will still happen. But yeah, so Megan, it's gonna be Friday is the only daytime session like this for now. But who knows? We'll see what I can muster up. I'm gonna try and do so next Thursday. I bought 1,400 Hot Wheels cars. I'm gonna actually try and photograph as many as I can in a day next Thursday. I've said to Jen, I want to see if I can do 10,000 shots in a day. So that works out to be divided by what's 10,000 divided by 15? That's like 666 cars. So next Thursday, I'm gonna snap all those cars. I don't know whether I should live stream it or not because it'll probably take a day. What's that? 666 times 20 seconds is that, and then divide that by this is 222 minutes. 4 hours of straight photography. So I'm going to do that because I thought that would make a nice video, taking 10,000 shots in one sitting, with maybe a toilet break and lunch in between. Jen's already agreed to take the kids to school that day or take the kids out to care that day, so I can start really early. So I might live stream that. We'll see. Megan's 45 minutes from Coffs Harbour. You are nearly ready for the Truman Show 24/7. Not sure that would be good for your family and health. Yeah, look, I'll do it during work times, but I'm not gonna do it too much because that would just, it's a big ask. Like live streaming is okay when you're doing work at the same time, but if you're doing it purely for the stream, and besides, you guys get bored of me. I reckon you guys will get bored of me. Like I remember the Tuesday, Thursday back to back. The Thursday night definitely felt a lot more familiar than the Tuesday night. Whereas Tuesday night, now that we've got the Tuesday Friday split, I feel like Tuesday is focused and Friday also focused. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna go pack some parcels. Latest. Have an awesome weekend. We'll see you on Tuesday.